Hey guys, how's it going? Mr. Pumpkin Away here, and today we're going to be reacting to an AVGN video. It's been a long time since I've done one of these. This is his newest video. It's Mission Impossible for the Nintendo 64. I have played that game. In fact, I do actually own it. And I didn't really like it that much. I don't know if he might like it. It's like one of those like Metal Gear Solid games for the Nintendo 64. That's all I could describe it. I don't know, maybe he could explain into detail, but we'll just watch the video. I just moved it to the main video because in the beginning of the video right there, it's just ExpressVPN. It may be for some people, but it might not for me. He parodies the Mission Impossible theme. Well, not the theme, it's just the intro. Mission Impossible, AVGN.
Mission Impossible. It was a TV show back in the 60s. It was part of the spy fiction craze back then. You had James Bond, The Man from U.N.C.L.E., The Avengers, The Saint, and Agent for Harm. However, Mission Impossible stood out. It featured great actors like Peter Graves, Martin Landau, Leonard Nimoy, and many more. They worked for the IMF, or Impossible Mission Force. Dumb name, but cool concept. A team going on dangerous and daring missions together. It pioneered a few tropes, like an audio recording of secret assignments that would explode after listening to them. It coins the term self-destruct. You can see it spoofed in Inspector Gadget. Mission Impossible ran for 7 seasons, came back for a bit in the 80s, and then became a successful movie franchise in the 90s that's still running to this day. They star the one and only Tom Cruise as Agent Ethan Hunt. I just had to get the soundtrack from the second movie. It has Metallica, Rob Zombie, the Butthole Surfers. Well, anyway, we're gonna listen to this on the best CD player ever, the PlayStation 1.
Mission Impossible 2, the worst one in the franchise.
Hello, nerd. The Bad Games Force is in need of your help. We fear the increased output of Mission Impossible movies will lead people to play the shitty games inspired by the series. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to review Mission Impossible for the Nintendo 64. Good luck. This message will self-destruct in 3 seconds.
Oh, wait, that's not enough time! I'm cool with reviewing bad games, but you know how long it takes to get the smell of explosives out of futon cushions? Dicks. Okay, so there's only been a handful of Mission Impossible games. The first was made by Konami for the NES in 1990 and was based on the second TV series. And then there was Impossible Mission 2, which is a totally different thing.
What?
The last game to be released was Operation Surma in 2003, which was an original story, but kinda had characters from the movies in it. It's weird because the movies did pretty well, I thought, so it would only make sense that there would be a video game tie-in, but the first one we really got was in '98 on the Nintendo 64, which was a few years after the movie came out. And, wouldn't you think that they'd release the game the same year as the movie to get the most hype? Then again, GoldenEye 64 came out 2 years after the film, and that game was very well loved. So maybe both game companies took extra time to focus on quality.
Yeah,
Never
I
mind.
played
It's from
GoldenEye.
Ocean,
It was
the
awesome.
same company that pissed out Waterworld on the Virtual Boy. I've heard this game was a horror to make. It was originally meant to be a PC game. There was a corporate buyout of Ocean, and then different programmers took over. And that's the kind of shit show that leads to a shit game.
Well, it has the theme.
Well, they got the theme song down, so that's good. But who are these people? That guy looks nothing like Tom Cruise. And these other IMF characters weren't even in the movie. And the character Jim Phelps looks more like Peter Graves from the TV show and less like John Voight, who actually played him in the movie. Okay, let me explain. Peter Graves played Jim Phelps in the original show, and he was basically the main character and director of the IMF. But Graves refused to be in the movie because they changed his character into a bad guy so that Tom Cruise has someone to fight. So in the end, they replaced him with Jon Voight, who looks nothing like his in-game character. And if you look at the cover to the game, it's so generic. Don't you think they put a big picture of Tom Cruise's face on there, just like they did with Pierce Brosnan in GoldenEye? So the gameplay, I was under the impression it was going to be like a GoldenEye clone, but it's not. You can't go in all guns blazing. Each level is set up like a stealth mission from the shows and movies. You have to do things like knock people out, take their identity, sabotage equipment, fake documents, frame other people, etc., etc. Classic spy stuff. What the game is trying to do is actually pretty advanced for the time. I haven't played the Hitman games, but this sounds a lot like them, except this one will be more like Shitman. So Ocean tried to innovate in many ways. Wait, what's the opposite of innovate? A deviate, regress? I don't know. The controls are whatever that is. They're ass backwards. If you have to hit a control panel or something, you better be standing in the right spot, or else you'll just jump up and down like a kangaroo. You ever try to pick something up, but jump instead? Don't you hate it when that happens?
The Konami laser scope from his NES
There's a few moments
accessories.
in the game where jumping is important, and the controls will do everything to mess things up for you. This stage has an electric floor. The red squares are where you'll get hit. You'll have to memorize which ones are red, because they'll fade back to blue and confuse you. I'll try to jump onto the blue squares, but no matter how well I aim it up, there's still a chance I'll land on the red and get fried or shot. There's a stage later in the game where you have to jump over a wall of lasers. It took me forever to find the right point I was supposed to jump from. I kept hitting the wall over and over again. Fuck! When I did manage to jump over the wall, I fell and took damage. There's no way to avoid it. Who designed this shit? If you're even a little bit familiar with Mission Impossible, you know that gadgets are a big part of it. And this game made sure to deliver on the gadgets. A few are actually from the movie, like the Face Maker, which creates a mask of other people's faces so you can disguise yourself as them. And then there's the exploding red and green gum. And last but not least, a small mobile device that sends you messages in the form of text. Wow. Imagine a world where you can send a text message to a device that can fit inside your pocket. There's 15 different gadgets, but occasionally you do have to use one of the 16 weapons to complete a mission, and this is where the game really goes to shit. The gun controls are grade A ass. The box says it has interchangeable third and first person viewpoints, but that's not the case. It goes from third person to closer third person. You have to go to this closer mode in order to kill anyone successfully. Shooting without manually aiming is a waste of time. The problem is when you manually aim, you can only move your body left and right to avoid getting shot. Your character is so slow, it takes forever to aim. Sometimes I get a headshot lined up, and then the enemy kneels, so I have to aim again. It's pretty funny when you manage to shoot someone in this game, because Ethan will randomly shout out lines like, "Rock steady, got him," and for some reason his voice changes to an old man when he says, "Way to go." Whenever possible, you want to do a headshot for two reasons. First, the ammo is super scarce and one shot to the head will take an enemy out. Second, headshots cause the bad guys to do backflips, and it's hilarious.
That makes no sense.
Back to the objectives. The game gives you a little radar that lets you know where each objective is with a red, white, or green dot. Unfortunately, it doesn't tell you which dot is which objective. Sometimes it's not an issue because some objectives can be done out of order, but sometimes I'll do something too early and ruin the entire mission. Oh, and go figure, there's no checkpoints or saves. If you die or mess up, you have to start the mission from the beginning of the level. I think the dumbest mission in the game is when you're in the warehouse in Russia. You have to blow up some equipment and look for an exit. The first obstacle you encounter is this wall of boxes full of toxic gas. So what do? Well, obviously, you shoot them and fill the room with poison. After this, you have to find health and eventually get a hazmat suit. And the whole time, you shoot more boxes full of poison and explosives. Why doesn't he just pick up the boxes and move them? Ethan Hunt can climb the tallest building in the world, hang on to the side of a plane that's taking off, and scale a mountain with his bare hands, but picking up a crate is just too hard? It's literally impossible for him. There's also a few levels that turn out to be one long escort mission. You know, where you gotta get a character from point A to point B. It's infuriating. This girl, Candace, is constantly getting killed or arrested. It's almost as bad as having to walk around with Lois Lane in Superman 64. Why do so many games do this? Has anyone ever enjoyed an escort mission? As said before, the game doesn't resemble the movie very much. Unlike GoldenEye, it does its own thing. Until the midway point, where it suddenly remembers it's based on a movie. Ethan gets framed and is accused of being a mole who leaked secret identities of IMF agents using a stolen data file, so he's forced to break into CIA headquarters to get the other half of that list, for reasons. But all you need to know is the game has that famous scene where he breaks into the high-tech vault and suspends down on ropes. You know, you've seen countless parodies of that scene. Yet instead of being suspenseful and exciting, this scene in the game is just infuriating. The room is filled with lasers you have to avoid. How do you avoid them? By swinging around like an idiot, of course. Look at this asshole swinging around the room. Imagine if this happened in the film. It looks like some Battletoads bullshit. This part takes forever. You have to constantly move the camera and rely on the awful controls to swing around the lasers. I lost count of how many times I tripped an alarm or face planted. You eventually meet the arms dealer, Max, and I love how the background characters are so poorly programmed that they actually walk through the main characters in the cutscene. In this level, you have to snipe enemies trying to kill Ethan. The sniper you play as is the character Luther from the films. Here's what he looked like in the movie, and here's what he looks like in the game. I'm starting to wonder if the people who made this even seen the movie. So you find out Phelps is the mole and have to kill him. This could be fun, but Ethan moves like 1 mile an hour on top of this train.
What?
The whole time you're chasing him, you gotta shoot bad guys and blow up cars and helicopters with rocket launchers. That's a fun idea for a level, but this game finds a way to make it boring as fuck. They add a bonus mission at the end where you return to the base from the first mission. It's more the same, except for the final level where you're on a gunboat blowing up the entire base. Feels like it was from a completely different game and they just shoehorned it in.
That's it?
So is the game done? No, they throw something after the credits. You return to another previous level and can talk to people standing around. They're all the people who made this game. You can ask their names and what they do, or you can punch them in the face. Be careful though, because they'll gang up on you. The game programmers are kicking my ass! Well, that's Mission Impossible 64. To be fair, the programmers had some good ideas that just didn't pan out well. But kicking my ass was the best idea. A year after the game was released, a PlayStation version came out. It has more cutscenes, looks a lot cleaner, has better sounding music, and has even more, voice acting, if you can call it that.
Oh, you're the movie star from Hollywood.
Sorry, you must be mistaken.
Phelps. So you're the mole, you rat. Sorry, my friend. I have a train to catch.
Oh, that
Goodbye.
sounds so cheesy.
From what I can tell, it's just a more polished version of the same shitty game. I'd play it too, but my PlayStation is, blown up. So I say, do not accept the mission of playing this horrible game and disavow all knowledge of its existence. And I do find it really shitty that the Ethan Hunt character in the game looks nothing like Tom Cruise. But I mean, let's be honest.
What?
How can anyone copy a face as perfect as mine? Yeah, it's me, Tom Cruise. And yeah, I've been the angry video game nerd the entire time. See the nerd room back here? Yeah, all the green screen. It's fake. Hollywood magic. Woo! Remember the AVGN Power Glove episode? Yeah, that was me. landing the plane in Top Gun.
I'm sure it's just someone playing as Tom Cruise.
Woo! Playing the nerd has been my biggest acting mission, so mission accomplished. This episode will self-destruct in 5 seconds. Did I mention I do my own stunts?
Yeah, that was really weird. Alright guys, so that was my reaction to the Angry Video Game Nerd's new video, Mission Impossible for the Nintendo 64. I played that game, I never finished it, and the reason why I didn't finish it is because it just sucked. The controls sucked, I was lost in space. But yeah, maybe one day I could show you why it sucks, or maybe this video told information about it. So, that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, see you in the next video. Bye.